Good evening, YouTube. I was going to go live on Periscope and also to Facebook, but I had a little technical difficulties. So, welcome to my world. This is DutyRon. Thank you for joining another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon, retired NYPD detective. I have 20 plus years of law enforcement. And I want to just say special thank you to all my Patreon supporters, my channel members, and all the folks who positively interact with this community here on all of our live streams. Today, I brought live to you an incident that happened here in West Hempstead, which is close, very close, about a quarter of a mile from my home at the Stop and Shop. As we know, there was an incident there where a shooting took place. One person lost his life. I believe it was the assistant store manager, and two other people were shot and wounded, but they're going to make it. It's a place that I shop with my wife, not often, but we do shop there, and we've been there quite a bit. And I know Diane B here in the chat, she goes there probably more often than we do. So it's a incident that hits close to home. It's definitely a eye opener for us here in the West Hempstead Franklin Square community. That's where I live in Long Island, and I just want to just quickly say hello to everybody jumping on in. Bugsy Cruiser, thank you so much for that super love. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. We put that up on the screen quickly. Prayers for the victims and their family. Thank you, Chris. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for the prayers. I am wearing, I don't know if you can notice it, Sheila, but I'm wearing the sweatshirt. Let me see. I saw her in the chat. There she is. Um, it's looking like a disgruntled employee, but it's not been confirmed yet. He was an employee there, and I'm going to get into that. I have some interesting information to give to you guys because I had a run-in, I believe, with this cart guy. I think I had a run-in with him a little bit under a year ago at that location. And if you stick around to the end of this, I'll let you know exactly what my interaction was with him. And I already called up Nassau County's 5th Precinct Detective Squad to let them know about my run-in with this potential guy. Because of the masks, I wasn't able to see his face completely. But I'll tell you guys about the run-in. Hey, Tim, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Guys, if you haven't shared this broadcast out, please share it out onto your live stream. Let me know in the chat on a number one if the audio is good. Let me know if this is too loud or too low. I think number one should be if it's good audio. Number two, if it needs to go up a little bit, let me know because I have it down a little low. Heidi, thank you for joining. Heidi, this is a birthday gift from Heidi Lee right here. Duty, honor, courage, blue line flag, blue lives matter. Thank you so much for this. That's going to be a part of my background all the time. So thank you, Heidi, for the birthday love. Much appreciated. Adventure Roads, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Adventure Rose is an active corrections officer. Happy birthday. These types are so scary. Prayers. We recently picked up a potential shooter. It's sad we deal with this. Destroys so many families. Message agreed. Message agreed. All right, let me show you a little bit of media. I have a great show for you tomorrow night with Dan Ribicoff from the Steve Wilco show. He's going to come on and do an analysis of Jacqueline and Trezell. A lot of you guys are following this channel for the Orrin and Orson West coverage. So tomorrow night, 9 p.m., you're not going to want to miss. Dan is going to come on. He's an expert. He's an expert polygraph examiner and also a what is the word I'm looking for? A deception detection expert. Say that 6 times fast. Say that 3 times fast. An expert deception detection expert. Thank you so much, Karen, for the super sticker all the way over from Ireland. Thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter and a channel member and a great friend of the DutyRon family. Thank you for that super sticker. I greatly appreciate it. All right, let me get the media going for you guys. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to play a little media so you guys can see what it is that I'm talking about. If I could find it, there it is. Okay, let DutyRon set it up. You know I'm challenged when it comes to media. I'm always challenged when it comes to this stuff. But let me set it up right so you guys can get a great view of it. All right, here we go. Voila. DutyRon never gives up. Never give up. All right, here we go.
Island, a shooting at a supermarket. Now to more breaking news on Long Island. A shooting at a supermarket left an employee dead and 2 other employees hurt. Police now say they have the suspected gunman in custody. Let's get right to CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff in West Hempstead. Carolyn.
Dana, it was everyone's worst nightmare played out inside a supermarket here in West Hempstead. Shots rang out. 1 manager is dead, 2 others injured. A gunman for many hours was on the run. He is now in custody, and he is described as a supermarket shopping cart collector with a history of mental illness. Terrified employees fled Stop and Shop on Cherry Valley Avenue at around 11:20 a.m. as shots rang out from upstairs offices.
3 managers were shot inside the store. I heard probably 5 shots, and the office is on the 2nd level.
I'm a cashier, and I was right up at the cash register, and I heard, I think, about 6 gunshots. I ran out. I left, and I saw somebody come out on a stretcher.
This shopper says she pulled up to a scene of chaos.
People were coming running out, and some man said to me, honey, don't go in there. There's an active shooter.
An active shooter on the run for 4 hours. Nassau police descended on the West Hempstead neighborhood, locking down schools and colleges while searching for a shooter armed with a small handgun wearing all black, releasing this picture of a 31-year-old person of interest, Gabriel DeWitt Wilson, found at a Terrace Avenue Hempstead apartment by the Nassau police SWAT team.
The subject tried to flee down through the 1st floor. He was then apprehended both by the Hempstead and the Bureau of Special Operations here in the police department.
Nassau police say the gunman took the life of a 49-year-old male employee, and 2 other workers were shot, taken to hospitals, conscious and alert, talking to law enforcement.
When he showed up to work today, he went straight down to an office on the 2nd floor. At that time, he shot a male and a female victim, and then he went down to a 2nd office where he shot and killed one of the managers of the building.
100 to 200 shoppers were in the supermarket at the time, terrified and looking for cover.
I was just shopping, and then I heard, get out, get out. There was police all over.
Workers were tearful and traumatized. Their union reps on the scene calling for an end to the gun violence now striking at essential workers in the workplace.
When is this going to end in this country, where we have to worry about our members, union members, work very hard every day, and having people walk in with guns?
Police say Wilson, that is, does have a prior criminal history and at least 1 mental health encounter with Nassau County. Police do credit the public with leading them to him. One shopper put the whole ordeal into perspective, saying West Hempstead has now come into the real world. We're now part of these mass shootings.
All right. I want to just pause that right there for a second.
On Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS.
I want you guys to just understand one thing. Diane B and myself, this is within a quarter of a mile of our home, so this hits close to home for us. Okay, but I gotta say this is, after all of these incidents, always people talk about gun reform and laws and things of that nature. Again, I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. Let me bring myself back on. I'll say this until I'm blue in the face, and I don't think anybody will listen to me. But I got to keep saying it, because until our government, until our lawmakers realize that it's not just going to be laws that fixes this problem, you need to have federal funded programs where they have people that are trained and hired by these individual businesses. Stop and Shop is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Okay, Costco, BJ's, multi-billion-dollar companies. If they get federal funding through the federal legislation, if you take gun laws and strengthen them, and then you add in federally funded programs where you have an armed security officer at the door with, I don't care if we need to have metal detectors in every restaurant, if every stop and shop, every grocery store, every movie theater. Listen, when we go to ball games, and for those of you here in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. If I go to a football game or a baseball game or any big professional sports arena, I need to get checked. I need to go through metal detectors. I get wanded. I get searched. I can't bring my gun into City Field. Can't go to certain places with my gun. I'm a retired cop, and they don't even let me go in with the gun. If this is what it takes to save human lives, then how about our lawmakers having a conversation on that scale? Because what they're doing right now is just blowing smoke up our, and they're not doing anything about it. All of this talk, and you're going to see the rhetoric and talk about gun laws, making gun laws stronger. If you make gun laws stronger, the people are going to still get the guns illegally. No criminal abides by the law. By a show of hands, what criminal abides by the law? Nope, the hands go down. No criminal abides by the law. That's what makes them a criminal. You know, extra, read all about it. So until our lawmakers get their heads out from under their or out from inside their, we are going to have the same thing going over and over again. It's frustrating, and I'm sorry that I'm getting hopped up about it, but again, this hits close to home for me because my wife and I have been into that store.
2 News.
Carolyn.
My wife and I have been in that store dozens and dozens, probably hundreds of times over the course of our times here. And at the end of it all, there's nothing being done to change anything. Nothing at all to change anything. All right, let me cue up the next piece of media. I'm sorry that I'm looking away. This is, I believe, a news conference with the police commissioner, Ryder. Let me just make sure that that's what this is. I believe it is. Let's play it. It's only 2 minutes. So I believe this is Police Commissioner Ryder from Nassau County. Let's get this up on the queue. There we go.
Shooting in West Hempstead. Suspected gunman Gabriel DeWitt Wilson is now in police custody.
That's the perp right there. This is him. That's I've actually been there many times where the central booking is for Nassau County because when I was in the NYPD in the fugitive apprehension team, we used to go outside of New York City, pick up prisoners who had felony warrants, bringing them back to NYPD. I've been here many a times. So these are 2 detectives that are bringing them in, and that's the walk. That's the walk of shame into central booking.
Begin with that deadly shooting in West Hempstead. Suspected gunman Gabriel DeWitt Wilson is now in police custody. After a massive manhunt this afternoon, the 30-year-old man was captured in Hempstead.
That's live video of the capture. That's how many police were on the scene at what was that street? They're going to say it here. 100. It slipped my mind the actual location, but it was in Hempstead, a really bad spot on the street name is right on my tongue. Diane, help me out.
Hempstead. Suspected gunman Gabriel DeWitt Wilson is now in police custody.
100 Thank you, Diane. 100 Terrace Avenue. That's the brave men and women of the New York Nassau County Police, Garden City Police, and I believe the feds were there with them as well. That's all of them racing in, and also Hempstead PD.
Today, after a massive manhunt this afternoon, the 30-year-old man was captured in Hempstead.
The subject tried to flee down through the first floor. He was then apprehended both by
This is the police commissioner.
the Hempstead and the Bureau of Special Operations.
Now, police say this morning the Stop and Shop worker opened fire on his co-workers at that West Hempstead location. killing 49-year-old store manager and injuring 2 others. Now, News 12's Antoinette Biordi is at the scene in West Hempstead now. And Antoinette, what can you tell us?
Well, as we've always heard around the country, there have been active shooter incidents, but you never expect it to happen so close to home. Well, it did today. And as you can imagine, shoppers and employees were horrified when they heard gunshots ring out at this Stop and Shop here in West Hempstead. It was a chaotic scene here at the Stop and Shop where police say an employee walked in and went straight to the second floor office, shot 3 people, one of them, a 49-year-old man. He is dead. 2 others are at the hospital recovering. After the shooting, the suspect fled down Hempstead Turnpike. Police quickly put out a description. Calls started coming in from the public, and police say the suspect was found.
All right, I just want to say one thing here. Okay, that mugshot was not the mugshot of his booking. That was the picture that was provided to the police on one of his prior, I think, arrests outside of Nassau County. So that was not the booking that he had today. That photo was not the mugshot from today, but it was another mugshot. So he was smirking. Mental health comes into play here. He was a either current or former employee. Debbie McCabe, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Hello, Florida Pete. He was either being fired or was fired and then came back because he entered the store and at no time did he shoot at anybody inside the shopping area. He went straight up to the management office and targeted specific individuals and then left out of the Stop and Shop without shooting a shot at anyone shopping. So he left the store. He entered the store and left the store. He had a mission when he went in there. He knew exactly what he was going to do. And disgruntled employee theory is probably 90%. It's probably a 90%. But we'll find out more tomorrow. And as you know, I will bring you the facts. But there is a connection between me and this perpetrator. I actually had words with this guy, and I'm going to show you exactly where I had the words with him so you guys can get an idea of what happened with my interaction with this. He was the guy who was picking up the shopping carts. I'll show you quickly.
At 100 Terrace Avenue in Hempstead.
Okay, so this is the front of the location right here. Let me see if I can get it better. Okay, shoot. Hold on. It goes off quick. Okay. All right. So I stopped it right at this is the actual entrance right here. Let me take the banner off so I could tell you the story about what happened. Hold on a second. Brand. All right. I'm getting good at this StreamYards thing. All right. So see, this is a walkway right here, where the mouse is. There's this police car. If everybody could see, there's an ambulance here, and then there's these pilings right here. These concrete barriers, so you can't drive a car straight up through the front doors. I don't know if you guys could see that. Let me get the chat back up so I could see what if you guys are following what I'm saying. So right here is the entrance. If you could see the mouse that I'm moving around. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pilings in the front. So I parked my car right where this police car is right here with the back trunk open. I was with my wife about 8 months ago, and this was during the height of COVID when nobody could find toilet paper. Okay, so if you're not seeing the mouse, then just look at the police car in front of the building with the trunk open. So there's 2 police cars right at the curb. I was parked right where the police cars with the trunk opened. So when I was at the front of the location, my wife went into the store to just get a couple of quick things. And as I was parked here, the way this cop car is parked, facing the other one, they're both facing together. I was facing the opposite way. So my car was heading forward right in the front of that location. And this guy who did the shooting, I believe, came up to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing here? You can't park here." And I said, oh, my wife is just coming out. Let me put myself on screen so you guys can see me. So I said to him, hey, I'm just waiting. My wife's coming out. I had my phone up on the steering wheel and I was looking at a video or a movie, just waiting for the missus to come out like I always do. And it was just weird the way he approached me. And he was like, hey, you can't stay here. And I was like, hey, don't worry about it. I'm going to, I'm going to be out of here quickly. I'm with the car. I know it's a fire lane. So basically what he was saying to me, he was like trying to be like security guard. It's like, hey, you can't park here. You got to move. And I said, I'm going to stay right here because my wife's going to come right out. I'm going to load the car up and leave. And he basically started taking pictures of my car. Like he was snapping pictures with his phone. And he told me that he was going to call the police. And I said, listen, I'm a retired police detective. I'm going to sit here. And if you call the police are going to come. I'm going to have a conversation with them and they're going to leave. So he was getting a little hopped up with me. And I thought it was odd. It was just very strange where he took a picture of my car and then he went around the back of it because my front of my vehicle doesn't have a plate on it. So he took the picture of my plate behind me. And I thought of getting out, but it was in the middle of the pandemic. People were dying. I think we were 600-700 a day dying here. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to this guy. I'm not going to mess with him. I'm just going to let him, be a weirdo. I have my gun with me, as I always do. So this was 9 months ago. I just ignored him. I said, you know what? He'll go away. It'll be fine. And he didn't give up. He kept staring at me. I'm watching him now. I'm watching him collect the carts and do his job. And I'm keeping a close eye on him. And he started taking more pictures. So I was like, what is wrong with this guy? So my wife comes out a few minutes later and we're loading up the back of the trunk with the bags that she got. And as I'm loading up, I forgot about the guy temporarily. And as I'm loading up, my wife goes, like she makes that, he came right up behind me and he goes, I'm going to have to curse. Sorry, guys. So anybody that doesn't like cursing, hold your ears. He said, I fucking hate cops. I hate cops with the expletive. And I turned around and I said, you better back the up. I used the F word. I said, you better back the F up. Stay out of my personal space or I'm going to give you one of these. I basically told him I was going to punch him in the face. So he backed up, but he didn't leave. He stood there and stared at me. So I'm thinking of safety of my wife. So I said, honey, get in the car. So she gets in the car and I drive her home, but I am fuming. I'm so pissed. So I drop her off and she's like, please don't go back there. Don't go back there. Just call. I went back there. I went back and I parked my car in the parking lot and I walked up and I went right to the manager and the manager was busy because it was during COVID. And the reason I know that it was during the time when we had no toilet paper is because there was a woman in there that was crying because she couldn't find toilet paper on the shelves. And she said she had a handicapped mother. And she was talking to the manager. And I think it was the manager who got killed today. She was talking to the manager and she was saying to him, my mother is home and I have no toilet paper. And where am I going to find this toilet paper? And he went into his office. He went upstairs and went into his office and came out with a 4-pack and gave it to her. And just said, here, this is no charge. Just take it, go. That's how nice that guy was. So I was waiting to talk to him and I witnessed that happen. And I thought, what a nice guy. So I said to him, well, listen, I had a little problem. I identified myself. I told him that I'm a retired detective from the NYPD. And I told him what happened. I said, I don't want you to fire that guy, but I need you to talk to him and tell him that that's not any way to act. And I told him everything that he did. And he said that he would take care of it. And that was the last I heard of it because I didn't make any further of a deal of it. Now, not because of that, we just don't go there on a regular basis. So we've maybe been back there twice. And I don't think my wife's ever been back there since then. But I went back there at least twice after that. And I always looked for the guy. I always looked for him. But because he had a mask on, you couldn't really see his face. I just knew he was black and that he was tall. And, he was like 6'2". And hi, Sherry. How are you? Good to see you. So that's my interaction. I called up the detectives today to tell them that I had that interaction with them, and I intend to call Stop and Shop and talk to their corporate and let them know that I had that incident happen, about 6 or 8 months ago, or maybe longer. But it was very aggressive behavior, very aggressive behavior towards me. And I told the manager, I said, I have a gun on me, and this guy was coming into my personal space. We have COVID-19. People were dying like crazy at that time. And I said, I don't appreciate that, you have a guy out here collecting the shopping carts doing that stuff. And for me, because of my work, it didn't phase me. I wasn't rattled by it, but I was definitely taken back. I wasn't rattled, but I was more concerned about my wife's safety. I was like, that's why I said, babe, just get in the car. I'll handle this. She was very nervous. She was, you know, she was definitely shooken up by it. Hi, Cat Jersey Shore. Good to see you. Kentucky Debbie. Thank you for joining. Marilyn Legs. Good to see you. Janine Goodwin. Cheater No More. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Hi, Beth. Let me know where you're watching from, city and state and country. Let me know where you're watching from so I could say hi. Leedy, good to see you. Send me an email about your friend. I'd like to cover that case. But just send me an email at DutyRon.com. I'll put it up for you. It's an easy one, Leedy. So this way I can take care of that for you. We'll look into it. There it is, DutyRon.com. All right, let me check the chat, see where everyone's watching. Tennessee. Hugs from Ali Maza. Good to see you. Connecticut. Australia. Put another prawn on the Barbie. I got your country wrong, Karen. Australia. I said Ireland, so now it's correcting it. I'm correcting it right now. Maryland, Indiana. Marion, Indiana. Ireland. Joshua is in the building. Hello, Joshua. Central Pennsylvania. Good to see you. Edison, New Jersey. Thank you. Illinois, says Figment. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Stratford, Wisconsin. Corpus Christi, Texas. Wisconsin. Poughkeepsie, New York. Poughkeepsie. I always used to call Poughkeepsie Between Your Cheeksville. Don't ask me why. It's just a joke that I have with a friend of mine. Poughkeepsie, Between Your Cheeksville. Wisconsin, good to see you. Stratford, Wisconsin. A double Wisconsin. Hello, Northeast Iowa. Buffalo, New York. Cold as hell up there. She's half Irish. You're a good egg, Karen. I love you. USA, says Isabel. All right, Buffalo, New York is freezing. You can. It's colder than a witch's. Hello, Cheryl from Texas, the great state of Texas. Diane down the block. I could throw a rock at her house from here. Flushing, Michigan. Thank you. Oh, wow. Uruguay. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining from Uruguay. I know I screwed that country up. An Irish girl here, says Sherry Ann. Oh, the luck of the Irish. Love you too, Maureen Gunn. Thank you. All right, I think I got everybody. Yeah, it's always cold up there. Linton, Indiana. Great to see you. All right, let's look at a little bit more of the media, and I'll let the rest of this roll. I get carried away sometimes. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. Linton, Indiana. What else? Snowing. 12-step woman says it's snowing. Mike is over in Connecticut. We know where he is. Colorado, says Debbie. Good to see you. All right, let's let the rest of this rock and roll. Medford, New York. I think I sent. He was transferred from another store. He came from, I think, Oceanside and was transferred, but I don't know when he was transferred. So I'll find out more. And I'll let you guys know. Okay. I think we got all the locations. So let's let the rest of this play. Lori, thank you for joining from Nevada. I've been to Henderson. I went through the Henderson, the boat ride on Henderson Lake, I think it was. Henderson, it's like a dam down there. A lot of fun while I was in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Yes, Oceanside. Thanks, Diane. Let's see. I got a super sticker coming in from Melody. Thank you, Melody McAtee. $3 super sticker. Thank you for the super love. Thank you for the love. Thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes, too. You guys are tremendous group of people. Thank you so much for all the birthday love. And Joey, thanks for the birthday broadcast. All right, here we go. Let's let the rest of this play. Here we go, guys.
They surrounded the building. They went in very tactically to keep everybody safe that's in that building. The subject tried to flee down through the first floor. He was then apprehended both by the Hempstead and the Bureau of Special Operations here in the police department. There are no injuries to anybody. The subject is now under arrest, and the homicide investigation will continue.
Today, that reality came home to Nassau County, and our hearts go out to the families and the victims of this crime.
I don't think the reality of what happened has actually sunk into my head yet. That I was in danger. I was in a very dangerous situation.
Did you see or hear anything?
I heard the gunshots. There were at least 4 or 5 shots. Little shots, not big shots. So apparently he had a small caliber gun.
Motive for this shooting is still under investigation, and police say Gabriel DeWitt Wilson is in custody. He will be arraigned tomorrow and will likely face murder charges. In West Hempstead, Antoinette Biordi, News 12, Long Island.
Okay, so
Let's begin with that deadly shooting in West Hempstead.
all right, this is a replay. So I went by this location today. For those of you who didn't catch the replay, I will link it right here on a card. I'll put it right here on a card. You guys can go check out my on scene. I actually went to the location and I did a live. I usually don't do that. I drove there in my car. I came home from work today. That's how worried my family was. I got on the phone with them once I got wind of what happened, and I told my wife, I'm coming home. I'm coming home because there was a perpetrator that was armed that killed somebody that was in our neighborhood potentially. So I came home. I just left my job and I said, you know what, my family is more important than this job. And I told the folks there that I was leaving, and they basically said, go, just go home and protect your family. So that's what I did. I came home, and once we heard that the suspects were apprehended, I headed back to work. Here's another little piece of the media. Again, mental health comes into play here, gun laws, and also the lack of security at big locations like this. 1 to 200 people shopping, 1 to 200 people shopping in a location. I mean, that seems like a lot of people, Diane. I think that might be an inflated number. Hi, Linda Williams. Good to see you. Meg Lowe, great to see you. Debbie McCabe, yes, my family comes first. Family comes first over everything. So I just dropped everything and came home. And then I went back to work after the suspect was in custody. All right, here's one more piece of media, and then we'll wrap it up. Let me put this on for you guys. If I could ever find the mouse. All right, here we go.
Street here. I'm not going to take a lot of questions. It's an ongoing investigation. At approximately 11:19 this morning, at the Stop and Shop at the 50 Cherry Valley Avenue here in West Hempstead, there was an active shooter. Right this time, we have one subject that has been killed and 2 others that have been wounded. The deceased is a male, approximately 49 years of age. The other 2 victims are at area hospitals right now. They are conscious and alert, speaking to law enforcement, and will wait to notification to family. We do have a person of interest. A person of interest. His name is Gabriel DeWitt Wilson. It's the best picture I can give you right now is on my phone. Gabriel DeWitt Wilson, date of birth 2/17/1990. He's got Long Beach and Hempstead addresses. He was or may still be an employee of the Stop and Shop. We're not sure. We're trying to confirm that now. He is a male black. He is 6'2". He is approximately 30 years of age. He's wearing a black baseball hat, a black sweatshirt, and he was last seen westbound here on the turnpike. We have over 150 assets out here right now looking for Mr. DeWitt to question him about the events that occurred here today. He did have a small handgun. That is what the witnesses have given to us. And again, we're out there looking for him now.
Okay, what you're looking at, those folks that are in the background, there's the small picture of the chief, the police chief talking. Those are shoppers and employees that were rushed across the street into a vacant, it looked like it wasn't a paved lot. It looks like a dirt lot across the street. And they put them all across the street in a safe place and said, hey, we have to interview everybody, but we have to interview you all together. We can't let you guys leave. So none of those folks were, those were all witnesses, and they had to take statements from all of them. So that's what they had to do. Good night, Art and Diamonds. Thank you so much for being in here. I appreciate you. I'm just about wrapping it up. So another couple of minutes, but I just wanted you guys to see, to know who that was. All these people in the middle of your screen are all witnesses and workers.
I'll try to see what questions I can ask.
Commissioner, can you say if this was some type of workplace dispute that led him to shoot?
So the investigation.
He did not shoot himself. He was apprehended without a shot being fired. He tried to escape out of a first floor window at 100 Terrace Avenue in Hempstead, and he was apprehended without any incident. No shots being fired. He did not kill himself.
Investigation is ongoing. We don't know the reason for the shooting. We know that he did shoot one of the employees and kill him, and 2 that are wounded.
Where did the shooting happen in the store?
So the shooting happened upstairs in the manager's office, in the upstairs office area.
Were all 3 managers?
I don't have that information at this time.
And he definitely at least worked there at some point, right?
He did at least work there one time. We're not sure if he's still employed by them at this time.
Did he say anything? Were any words exchanged?
We don't have that. It's still ongoing.
Were any of the shoppers threatened?
Still ongoing. We probably had a couple of hundred shoppers in the store at the time.
A couple of hundred shoppers in the store. That sounds like a lot, but that's a huge store. If you see the overhead shot, it's a huge store. So a couple of hundred shoppers inside the store. Unbelievable. So
You saw the line trying to get out. We stopped the question to make sure we have anybody that was a witness. Their information is being given to a homicide unit who's doing the investigation.
Is he considered armed and dangerous? If the public sees him, what are they supposed to do?
Absolutely. So this is a person.
this is before he was apprehended. I was home for this news conference. I was at my house, and she said, is he considered armed and dangerous? Of course he's considered armed and dangerous. He left with a gun in his hand. And she asked, what is the public supposed to do if they see him? Call 911. Nobody is supposed to go and confront somebody who has just taken another person's life and shot 2 other people. It's not in your best interest unless you are a professional. If I saw him walking down the street, I would confront them, but I would do it tactically sound, and I would not take any chances. So,
Person of interest. That person of interest, we believe, is the shooter. Again, but as we wait, he left the scene and he was still carrying the handgun.
What do you do if you see him?
You call 911. You always.
What do you do if you see him? You call 911.
Call 911. Let us do our job.
What do you do if you see him?
You call 911. You always call 911. Let us do our job. We have our officers out and about in the areas now.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
I do not know. Ongoing at this time.
We're hearing he's on a public bus.
Say it again.
Saying he was wearing all black.
Yeah, he was wearing all black, as I gave it to you a second ago. Yes.
Was he on a public bus? Did he get away on a public bus?
I don't.
Welcome, Tabitha. Thank you so much for joining. MC's audio, exactly. They're asking if he got away on a bus. They don't know if he got on a bus or how he got 2 miles. He was apprehended approximately 2 miles from the shooting scene. So he was apprehended about approximately 2 miles away. Whether he got there on foot or he took a cab or he took public transportation, it's all unknown at this time. But it really doesn't matter because he was taken into custody. And I want to say that he was taken into custody thanks to anonymous tips that came in from who? A private citizen. So again, it's the citizens who help apprehend this guy. The police just went on the tip, a good tip from a good Samaritan, a good citizen, called the police and said, hey, this guy is at 100 why am I forgetting the Terrace Avenue? 100 Terrace Avenue, apartment such and such, because it's a huge housing development. It's got many apartments in it. If they gave just the address and said he's there, they'd have to lock off the whole building and go door to door. But they knew exactly where to go, and they did it, and it was Perpetrator was taken into custody thanks to a great citizen. Pick up the phone, call in those tips.
I don't have that information. I know just that he went westbound on the turnpike. We don't know his priors, and again, we're getting all of that as we're developing it now.
Was there a plan in place for if an active shooter is ever in the store?
Right, Diane. They said he went westbound. He could have went westbound in he was probably nervous. He was probably freaked out at what he just did. He might have banged the right and went west, and then doubled back and then traveled east, because obviously he did. He was apprehended east of that location in Hempstead.
What happened? What kind of protocols were followed?
So the protocols and what to do in an active shooter always are designed sometimes on the fly. But from our standpoint about what we do and what we've done and spoken to many of our critical infrastructure stores here in the county, is we tell them what to do in the event of an active shooter. And again, it's always calling 911 first and get that description out.
Was this office an area that only he would have known, people who worked in the store would know?
I did not walk into the crime scene, so it's still ongoing.
Who called 911?
I don't have that at this time.
What was the people?
No, I do not. There's still victims. We have to notify families.
So what happened? People just all started running at once to exit?
I don't have any of that. I wasn't there at the time. But again, this is ongoing. It's active. We'll get back to you with more. Thank you. Thank you.
Those reporters with those stupid questions, but I guess it's their job. It's their job to ask stupid questions. All right, listen. Again, kudos to the civilians who called in the tips to the police department. I'm telling you, without the help of citizens like the people who came forward today, this guy could be still outstanding right now as we speak. Okay, you could be sure that the police in Nassau County did a great job in their due diligence. They would have checked all the prior addresses of this defendant, but at the end of the day, it was this guy was in custody within 2 hours, 2-3 hours max, and it's so wonderful that we had the cooperation of the general public, and this is a prime example of the partnership between police and community. And without that partnership, it doesn't work. So again, I want to just say thank you to the good citizens, the good folks like yourselves, like all you guys out here. Hello in Nashville, good to see you. I'm going to wrap it up, but this really gives you an overview. I feel I had an encounter with this guy some 6-8 months ago. I don't know the exact time or date, but I definitely feel like I had an encounter with this guy at that location. And I mean, everything about this perpetrator is saying to me that this was the guy who I encountered, because there was interviews with neighbors of his previous addresses, and they said that he was shot in the head in Texas 10 years ago. So he was shot in the head and survived, and has had like a traumatic brain injury, and was bipolar, and a couple of different things going on with him, where he was 1 minute acting fine and the next minute acting irrational. So this would make his actions towards me, they make sense, and that's why I'm putting it all together. I didn't have the luxury of seeing his face because he had a face mask over it. So I think for sure that this was the guy who I encountered. He was doing the carts, the job that this guy was doing. He was collecting the shopping carts and bringing them back. And it was a male black, 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3". I predict. I guessed at the time he was like 6'2", 6'3". And he wasn't a small guy. He was a sizable dude, and he came at me really strong, very strongly. Anyways, I'm glad that that day it didn't end bad. I'm glad that day it didn't end bad, but I'm very sad that he continued to be employed there and wound up here we are now. So terrible situation. I want to say a special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, my channel members, all the super chatters, people that have given super chat, and the people who sent me great gifts like this. Heidi Lee sent me the sign. Um, Meg Lowe, I still didn't get that email, but thank you for your gift. Black Rose, thank you for your gift. Beth, Joey Brooklyn, I know I got to get together with you. Maddie Boy Sully, Dawn Marie, the list goes on and on. I received stuff from Liz Rivera, cards from people who I didn't even know who the cards were from, because a couple of people sent me birthday cards and didn't even write a return address. It just wrote like names in there. Like, so I got a stack of cards that I have to go through and figure out who gave what. So, yeah, I mean, just I'm blessed. Princess Michelle and her husband sent me a card. I'm just blessed with all of the great friends that I made here with you guys, and I'm so happy that you guys all enjoy the content. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to have Dan Ribicoff from the Steve Wilco Show. We're going to go over the Jacqueline and Trezell 13-minute interview that they gave, and I'm going to talk to him about deception and what to look for. We're going to ask him questions, but I'm going to pick his brain apart about what to look for when someone's lying to you in person. I want to try to educate us so we can know who is lying to us when we have a conversation with somebody. So I want to get the as much as I can from him tomorrow night, and it will be probably only about a 35-minute broadcast because he's a busy guy. I can't keep him for a long time, but he agreed to a Q&A, so I'll pick some questions. I'll ask some people in my Discord group if they want to give me some questions to ask Dan tomorrow night. I'll even ask him about Suzanne Morphew and her husband Barry. I'll ask him to look at that statement from Barry Morphew, the 26-second plea, and I'll ask him to look over Trevor's statements that he made, the nephew from on Barry's side. So, or I'll split it into a second live stream. So he's going to be a good friend that we can have for lots of different broadcasts to cover lots of different cases. So I think it's going to be a real asset to the Crime Time with DutyRon. This channel is growing and getting some really good guests. I have the FBI profiler from the polygraph profiler, professional, Mike Della Pena. I got it. Mike Della Pena. He was a great guest. I have Barbara Butcher from the New York City Medical Examiner's Office, Chief of Staff, Bill Cannon, and all the great ones that come on my shows. A bunch of law enforcement. You're getting it a perspective from a law enforcement standpoint straight out to you guys. So hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below in the comment section so we can talk. I really appreciate you guys all interacting in the live streams. It really makes such a great community show. You guys all talk amongst each other during the streams, and it's really great when I go back and watch it. So much love to you guys and gals for all of your interaction, positive interaction. I'll do another live stream about the George Floyd Derek Chauvin verdict. Just an overview quickly. I think that the verdict was correct, and no good law enforcement professional would try to make an excuse for what former Officer Derek Chauvin, now felon, what he did. Nobody in their right mind or any good police officer would make an excuse for him. But I say this: if you have sons or grandsons or nephews or small children, teach them how to respect police and not resist arrest. Teach them that you can have your day in court and get a good defense attorney like Scott Reich or one of the good defense attorneys like Joe Murray and fight your case in court. It doesn't pay to fight in the street. Hi, Alyssa. Good to see you. It doesn't pay to fight in the street. I think that we need to have more education on our youth and our young adults on the importance of having your day in court and not fighting the police. Because when you fight the police, you make those things get escalated. And when force has to get used, there's an opportunity for error, or an opportunity for something to go wrong. So that's what I'm saying here is that we need to, if we really care about our community and our youth and all the folks that are out there, if you care about the police, you want to teach our young folks and our young adults that you're fighting with authority and fighting with police is not the way to go. So much love and respect from my house to yours. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. There, like you said, Alyssa, that's a great comment. Thank you. I'm going to highlight that. The trial was for all good police officers out there like yourself. We have to get rid of the bad and really appreciate the good ones out there. Thank you for all those who serve with empathy. Thank you, Alyssa. And there's so many. The overwhelming majority serve with empathy and want to really do a good job for the community. Again, like I said, George Floyd was not alone in that car, and the other folks that were with him are alive because they complied. They weren't the subject of the stop, but they too could have resisted and could have risked getting themselves hurt. But again, respect is is even now with me being retired. When I get pulled over, I just say, yes sir, no sir. I identify myself, and if I was to be put in handcuffs, I would just retain an attorney and fight the case. That's what I would do, and that's what I teach my kids. I have two boys that are 27, and one's going to be 25 soon, and they know if you get stopped by the police, you comply. And I taught them that at a young age. So I wish that everyone would do that. I know that it's hard to get compliance from everybody, but at the end of the day, we need to also have a conversation about not resisting arrest, because most of the times, all of these cases, it has a component of that, and it's not making it justified. There's nothing what Derek Chauvin did justifies. There's no. It makes me sick when I see that. When I hear it, when I see it, it just turns my stomach, because that's completely the opposite of how I operated. But anyways, let me let you guys go. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. But most importantly, God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, all of us good human beings. God bless all the victims of crime throughout the world, throughout the United States, throughout our country. There's so many bullies out there. There's so much people that shame other people. Let's be kind to each other. Let's be kind to mankind and womankind, and love each other and respect. Good night from New York City, and I'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Peace, friends. Peace.